put on your seatbelt. Let's go.
All right, turn up the music.
There's a killer on the loose. Look out, he's right behind you. He won't give me the axe. I'm scared, but I'm fighting back. We are the scream queens, running through the night. We are the scream queens, gonna put up a fight, make everything alright. Flowing through.
Welcome to Scream Queens Horror Road Trip Podcast.
Ah!
That is your final girl, Justine, over there. She's kind of battling like a mild cold sinus situation.
I got sinitis. All right.
I
don't
told her
know.
to give it her best shot. I even offered to scream, but then we were like, no, that just wouldn't feel right.
Yeah, he was like, should I do it for the first time ever? And I was like, no.
But
will
I
just-
am your soul survivor, Mr. Josh, and
I'm your final girl, no matter what.
we are headed on another adventure out west. We're on Interstate 40, mile marker something or other.
Yeah, we're just like in New Mexico.
We're in New Mexico. We're heading to Santa Fe.
We're gonna live our best Faye Santa lives.
Faye Santa.
Come Santa lives.
I'm really excited. We've been to New Mexico numerous times. New Mexico. But we've never gone to Santa Fe. I've never been. And I hear it's
This is
magical and
exciting.
wonderful. And we're going to hit up.
I think it's gonna be glorious. So we're gonna go to the MEOW WOLF installation, and that installation is called, I've written it down, House of Eternal Return.
Yeah, that's our main focus on the trip is the MEOW WOLF Museum art installation. It's like massive. If you recall, when we did our Maximum Overdrive trip, we briefly discussed going to MEOW WOLF out there, and it's a supermarket theme where you get lost behind the deli or behind the meat freezer.
Yeah, that was in Las Vegas.
Yes,
Yeah, so
in Vegas.
here we come to Faye Come Santa.
And this is the original MEOW WOLF.
MEOW WOLF?
MEOW WOLF, if you want to just make it one word. And so I'm really excited. There's now one in Denver and one in being built now or just open in Grapevine, Texas.
So we'll have to make excuses to go there.
But we wanted to go to where it originally started, and our original experience at MEOW WOLF was incredible. It's definitely worth the money and worth the drive for
Yeah.
us. It's
Fun, immersive, unique.
It's almost hard to explain what it is. It's just this other world you go into
Yeah.
for like an hour or so, and you just embrace creativity for a while and art. And so we picked a art horror
Yeah.
thriller.
Velvet Buzzsaw. I mean, you know, if you've clicked on the thumbnail, you know what you're getting into. But if not, then we're telling you right now, you're about to listen to us tear apart Velvet Buzzsaw in the most gentle and kind way, because I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I like this movie, and it came out in 2019. It didn't really get the best reception, lukewarm at best, and I remember a lot of people kind of complaining that it was boring and whatnot. And it does, even for like a Netflix movie, kind of have that A24 slow burn horror feel,
Yes, and kind of like most movies these days, we could knock out a good 12 to 15 minutes and
But I don't know where. Like, it's so
Trim it
moody,
down.
and it kind of just like slowly creeps to the steamroll at the end where everything just goes to
it
shit.
culminates, and we're gonna get there.
Yeah, we're gonna
As
get
we
there.
get there to Santa Fe, we're gonna
Santa
get there
Fe.
in the movie.
Yeah, we're gonna go. I'm
It's,
excited.
Yes, it is a Netflix. A previous Netflix related to it, not related to it, but directed by the same director, Dan Gilroy, is Nightcrawler.
Which I loved. One of my favorite movies of like last decade.
And he's bringing his main squeeze back, Rene Russo, Hot Mommy.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Jake Gyllenhaal.
Oh, well, yes, and my main squeeze, Jake Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, they're both in Nightcrawler, if you remember. And Renee Russo needs to be in more movies. I just love her, and she is fantastic in this
She
movie.
is divine.
Jake Gyllenhaal is fantastic in this movie. They are a really good, like, threesome pair.
Yes.
Like Dan Gilroy, his wife, and Jake Gyllenhaal. They make really fun, weird movies.
Yes. And, you know, I enjoy not really enjoying the two of these people in the movie. You know, like, they're kind of pretentious and egotistical characters, but
Yeah.
I think that they're funny, and I think that they do often, like, call out other people on their bullshit, and Renee Russo especially.
It's a movie where there's almost no hero. Everybody, you can't even call them really an anti-hero. Everybody just sucks. Like,
Yeah.
I can't think of a redeeming quality that several of the main characters have. Maybe there's a few characters, and we'll get to that later, that might survive this movie and maybe deserved it, but most of the characters don't. They're all terrible, but you know, you're on the ride with them, though, and they're funny. This is definitely a dark comedy. Wouldn't you agree?
I would totally agree. And it's all based in the art world, so it's just this, like, this echelon of people, this culture of how just critiquing other people's work and thinking that you could have done better.
And it's a
or-
world where everybody is looking for a flaw, where everybody
Yeah.
wants to be better than somebody else.
and everyone wants to be somebody. And for a lot of the characters in this movie, art just represents their opportunity to make more money, their notoriety, their claim to fame. But then maybe the artists themselves are tortured, and they're not really in it for the money necessarily.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Okay, sorry guys, got that vocal fry for sure with my
Oh,
coldie.
it's like very sexy ScarJo, you know.
Giving you
Giving you ScarJo.
ScarJoey. So should we just dive into? Okay, yeah, we said Renee Russo, Jake Gyllenhaal. We've got
Jake Gilroy. Can I say that
John Malkovich.
Yes. I was gonna say Jake Gyllenhaal's performance though almost reaches like high camp. Like he's so
Oh my god, he is
funny. in
like
this
his
movie.
mannerisms. Sometimes the way that he even just speaks.
And in both movies with Dan Gilroy, he's so over the top, but it works, and his
Yeah.
performances are so creepy. I would say
He goes for
in
it.
both. This one, he's a little bit more like smarmy and very pretentious. In
Yes,
this movie.
but he believes his own bullshit.
Uh-huh.
So
He thinks he's God. Someone even calls him God. at
yes,
some
Renee
point.
Russo does. She
Yeah.
says he's kind of the god of the art world because
And he
he
believes it.
is. He's a critic, but he's not even just like a critic. He's the critic,
He can
and
make or break.
yeah, he can monetize your art piece, in the millions if he thinks you're worthy of it. So imagine walking around and having that kind of power.
Where everyone's kissing your ass at all
Yes.
times. And,
Because, okay, let's get into it.
yeah, let's start it.
It opens with our character Jake Gyllenhaal. His name is Morph Vanderwalt.
Yeah, the names in this movie are hilarious too.
Over the top.
Yeah.
And he is attending a Miami Beach gallery art show exhibit where some of his chums in the art world are showing off just their latest and greatest. And there's a few art pieces that are kind of opening for just the first day. So he's going to probably review them. Or if he does choose to review them, that could bode well for them.
And what's funny in this whole scene, we're introduced to a lot of characters, but everybody at this event is either so impressed with him or like pissed at him about something. And of course, obviously about a review he's written or
Yes.
something he said to a gallery owner or
He's
whatnot.
either eviscerated them
Yeah.
and now they can't, sell their art pieces, or he has like just dolled them up and now they are the creme de la creme.
Yes, and so yeah, everyone's kissing his ass.
And he's walking around and we are getting introduced. We get introduced to Toni Collette. Her character is Gretchen and she looks like
An art critic named
Yes.
Gretchen. Well, she's not quite an art critic.
She's
She
an-
works for the museum right now,
yeah,
right?
like
And
she does have a
she's-
job change in the movie, but
Mhm.
she is an art advisor.
Yes.
So at first she's an art advisor for kind of like the LA museum.
Yes, that's right.
And then she decides to switch gears so she can make more money and she's just advising for secret, like, rich people.
That'd be
Bizarre.
fun.
Like, there you are in that world, like, so deep in that culture that you're like,
And just the way they speak about everything, it's
Yes.
so over the top. It's so almost sometimes can even come across a little pedantic, where it's like, oh, you're just rubbing these big words in my face, kind
Yes.
of mocking each other.
well, especially Jake Gyllenhaal, he'll describe something and he'll kind of just like go off on his description to where you're like, ooh, look at you with your fancy words.
Yeah, and that's
it's sorcelled,
Yeah, and
huh?
that's almost it too. It's like, oh, you're using the big words, so you must really know what you're talking about. It's like
Yeah.
he's probably just pulling these words out of his
He
ass,
got-
stringing
he
them
got
together.
a thesaurus out,
Yeah.
and he was like, okay, let me look at this, and then what's a synonym for this, and what's in... Yeah, we follow.
Yeah.
Get your drift.
It's like, see, I'm smart. I know what I'm talking about.
Critics are just those that couldn't. Now they just go around, bitch and complain about other people.
But you know what? Sometimes it's necessary to have a critic. But
I mean, we kind of are critical. we are kind of reviewing and
I mean, yeah,
being-
we give our knife ratings at the end, but we're not making breaking
No.
careers, and we're always very
How
genteel.
do we know? What
Even
if
though
someone is sitting there crying, doubled
I hope
over,
not.
because we gave them
2.5 knives.
2.5 knives?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I know. Right now, I just want you to know, I'm sorry. Don't take it personal.
We probably actually liked your movie. We chose to do it for
Don't take it personal.
an episode.
Baby, don't take it personal.
I just wanna be on my own.
Do
Oh.
you think I did you wrong? Oh my god.
Oh,
Where do we
90s
go
flashback. 90s
We're
kids.
just on the opening scene.
Yeah, okay, let's keep going.
Okay. So we are also introduced to John Malkovich's character at this gallery show. He is showing some of his pieces. His name is Piers.
Yes.
Piers. No, he's not showing his pieces, or he's showing old pieces because everyone is questioning him on, what are you doing? What have you been up to?
Yeah, and he says
He's
something
like
along the
getting sober.
Yeah, getting sober. He also mentions that now he sells other people's work under his brand with his stamp, so he's kind of making money off other artists right now, or like making prints for them or
But
something.
he's
he had
just
mentioned.
selling his prints.
Okay, but I thought he said something like was it acquisitioning or
Oh, look at
portraits
you with
under
your fancy words.
well, this is what he says. Under selling them under his name, or not under his name, but under his brand or whatever. I don't know. I
Yes.
could have that wrong. You're probably right. Shit.
Yeah.
But anyways,
Anyways.
he's cool.
He's cool.
He's one of the true artistes in this movie.
So we've got the art gallery going on, and we are being introduced to characters like Rene Russo. We know she is Redonda Hayes. She owns a gallery in Los Angeles, and she's kind of friends with everybody in the art world. And she has her own past where she was in a band called Velvet Buzzsaw, and now she is just this kind of top-notch curator, gallery owner.
Hmm. She talks about, like, yes, isn't it ironic? I went from being anti-establishment to, the establishment because
To being the one that defines what art is.
what she owns a museum, right?
Yeah, she
And
owns a gallery.
Yes, and everyone wants to be in her gallery. If you're in her gallery, you're like
You've made it.
You've made it. You're an artiste,
And
and you're making lots of money if you're in her gallery.
so she and Morph are just kind of having a little bit of banter back and forth, and she's like, here, come with me, I want to show you Sphere. And it's this
Sphere.
humongous
Metallic,
silver metallic sphere with holes in it. It's larger than, it's probably like 7 feet tall.
They look like very cold holes.
And it has like this real alien presence to it, like almost like it's floating and it's otherworldly. And the whole point of it, I guess, as she's selling it to Jake Gyllenhaal, is that
If you fist it,
Oh,
each
God.
of you have a different experience.
Josh, she never says fist it. Like, she just.
Well, everyone puts their fist in it.
Well, they put their hands and
their whole
arms.
arm.
It's
Oh,
like
that- oh,
not
that's
just
nasty.
you're sexualizing the whole thing.
You wanted me to.
Why should you do?
Anyways, you
she's-
stick your hand into the cold holes, the metallic holes, and you can pick which hole you
Yes,
like.
and just like life, you pick which hole you want to stick your,
Get it?
and then you get different sensations and experiences in each hole.
God damn, ain't that true?
That's preach, sis.
Anyways,
So that's all happening, and then we're also being introduced to a character named Josephina. She's late arriving to the gallery. She's getting a call from someone named Coco, who tells her, "I'm really sorry to be the one to tell you, but your new boyfriend's a jerk."
he's a cheater, pumpkin eater.
And she's like, "What? Are you like what?
How dare you?
I gotta go because like what?"
Because my British accent says I gotta go.
She's like, "I literally have to go because I literally am crying because I literally cannot open the door because I'm literally talking on the phone and I've got coffee on my hands and I can't do both at the same time because I literally have my hands full."
And while all this is going on, Jake Gyllenhaal meets a robot.
Yes.
And he doesn't really care for the robot. He's like, this is very redundant. This is done. This is passé. It was done 4 years ago with a different kind of robot. And
Yeah, it's like a robot that looks like a hobo.
yeah, or kind of like an old-timey, like almost like steampunkish too in a weird way. He has
Oh,
a
it says like
mask.
I used to build the railroad.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't
But
really
it called
make
it
sense.
called it like Hobo Human
Okay, yeah, I
was the
guess
name
you're,
of the piece.
yeah.
And there's-
Damn, you're better at this.
I'm like, what the?
Anyways.
I love how you thought it might be steampunk because of the one comment
mask.
where he says like, "I built a railroad."
I don't know.
Yeah. So he does. He meets this like robot that is an art installation itself. It's like,
And he tells the artist to his face, like, this is shitty.
yeah, he's just telling him like, it's just been done before. I'm sorry. Like I
can't lie to
can't
you.
like. I like what I like, and I don't like this. And so that person like runs off crying. And then in comes Josephina, and she is like crying. And Morph is like, "Josephina, you can tell that they have something, you know, like they've
Yeah.
interacted before. You know, they know each other."
They keep talking about, he'll mention Berlin, like, oh, in
Yeah.
Berlin.
Yeah, when we were in Berlin, and they're chatting.
Everyone knows lots of nasty things happen in Berlin.
Isn't that only where things nasty happen? Is it?
You have to go to Berlin to do nasty things.
You can't do any nasty things
Can't do it in
anywhere else
Santa
in the
Fe,
world.
where we're going.
Nope, we gotta be nasty free and Fe Comma Santa. So, okay, Morph and Josephina decide to like ditch the show that they're currently at and go to, I guess, kind of off the beaten track gallery show.
Which is funny. She says off the beaten track, but then it looks like they go straight up to like South Beach, Miami, or something, like to the Strip. You know, like that exterior shot, but where they are is like doesn't look like it's in the middle of nowhere. I don't
Strip?
know. The Strip.
Like
I don't know, I'm sure there's a Strip in Miami, right?
a strip.
Miami.
I don't know. They're probably all Brazilian
Oh.
wax, so might not have any strips.
They're not stripping.
Um,
Damn.
Okay, so they're there and they're having more back and forth with each other that leads us all to believe that maybe they're gonna have sex later.
Yeah, they're gonna like.
Like maybe they're gonna hook up. But then you're like, hold on, Jake, you've got a boyfriend. You're talking about your boyfriend.
Yeah, you're talking about Ed, and Ed's hot too.
And Ed is hot. So what's happening here? And they do. They hook up. And then everybody heads back to Los Angeles. Everybody leaves Miami
Yeah,
Beach.
they all leave. They go back, and Rene Russo's like, "Yeah, Miami was a bust. Everything's lame out there right now."
Nothing happened. We barely sold anything. But that wasn't true because she had like sold like one piece for like $7 million. Or I guess that's not a lot of
That's
money
not
to
a
her.
lot for her.
So she's complaining, and Josephina is late for work again, but there's a dead man in her apartment complex, and she's scared
Yeah,
that she's dead in his apartment complex.
She comes out of her apartment and finds like a cane on the floor and kind of looks up and can see like what blood or she can see like the body, right?
Yes,
laying
the
up
hand
there.
is laying out of like in view. So she goes
almost
up.
like he was like, Josephina,
Please help me.
take my strong hand.
And she's like, I'm really sorry. She arrives, at work later, like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, somebody died in my building and I found him. And Rene Russo's
Like, oh,
character,
the old dead man in the apartment excuse.
like, just chooses to not believe it at all.
Yeah, she's like, whatever, I believed in you, and now you're really gonna have to step up and show me what you got because I think you're a punk. Basically, is
Yeah.
gist
She's like,
of
well,
that.
fine. F you. If you think I'm a punk, then I'm just going to go home and drink this whole bottle of wine by myself. So
And
that's
then-
exactly what Josephina does.
And then she's like, and then I'm gonna go try to steal his cat. And while I do that, I'm gonna stumble upon all this weird, creepy, gloomy art.
Yeah, she's like, she goes to check her mailbox, and there's, do you think it's the building manager or
He
the
says
super or
he
something?
says like the property owner.
So we know he knows of the guy that's up there because he's like, yeah, they got him removed and they're gonna get all of his stuff out of there later. He wanted it all destroyed, and she's like, well, what about his cat?
He's like, yeah, we'll get him tomorrow. And she's like, damn, fuck that.
That
Damn it.
cat deserves a good life.
I'm marching up there right now and getting that pussy. And by pussy, cat.
Okay, clear that up.
No, it's like, you should just know what I mean.
I
Not
should just know.
I
I
think it's
should.
you with the dirty mind.
I have
say
the
something
dirty mind?
innocent like pussy referring to a cat and you give me a dirty look.
I didn't even give you a dirty look. I just paused.
Oh, okay.
Waited to see if you were going to clear it up or not.
It was a dramatic pause.
It
and
was
I
a
felt
little bit of a
insulted.
hesitation.
My integrity is at
Oh,
stake.
no.
I'm kidding. Anyway.
Okay, so she goes up to check on Pussy, and then she sees exactly what the manager, custodian, super guy meant by destroy everything. There's art all over the freaking apartment. Like 1,000 pieces of canvas covered, or just like sketches, all kinds of mediums.
And it's all very eerie and dark and twisted in some ways. Like, I feel like all of them depict something kind of spooky or
Yeah,
death in some ways or something that's like feels very suggestive of death.
maybe just all of this, the experiences of that artist, who we will find out his name is Ventral Dees. Which, what a name.
And Rene Russo's is like, that's the tinsel on the Christmas tree is his name. It
Yes.
just makes him sound even more,
Ventral
mysterious
Dees.
and artistic.
Do you think what came first, the chicken or the egg? Like, Ventral Dees or the artist? Like, was he born an artist or by
His name.
environment and name? Did he?
I don't know.
It's a philosophical
It
question.
really is. I would have to ponder. I have to read some Socrates.
Well, she steals the artwork and the cat. That's the main thing.
Yeah.
And when she's in the apartment, we're already seeing eerie things that are happening. We're already a little confused. Did the eyes just move from across the room?
Yeah, and they do, yes.
Yes.
The answer is yes. I've watched this movie a couple of times. Those eyes move.
And
Damn it.
did the chimney just ignite another piece of art? Like, there's some pieces of art that are inside the fireplace that he was trying to destroy before he died, Ventral.
Yeah.
And it all starts smoking up like
Like it's gonna curse
it's gonna
the
kill you.
land.
What's up with Ventral Dees' art?
It's gonna murder everybody that is not a true artiste.
Well, she's just entranced by it. She starts, I guess she spends the rest of the night transferring all of his artwork into her apartment.
And that's the thing too, everybody who sees his art becomes entranced by it, wants a piece, or can't stop looking at it, or starts doubting themselves as an artist because
Yes.
this guy's art is like
Yeah,
this-
they just pale in comparison.
Yeah, it's like the biggest thing to happen in the art world in ages, apparently.
So she probably like next day is like, hey, Morph, now that we're back in LA, like come meet up with me. And he has to make this hilarious comment about her corn silk top that she has on.
You look great in corn silk.
And he had earlier been like, your skin tone is like the perfect in between saddle brown and like caramel or something. It was so weird.
Just always overly specific.
Yeah.
Really
like,
show-offy.
Why do you have to go there?
In all aspects. But she's loving it. She is eating it all up. She's just staring at him like, fuck, you are amazing.
Loves all that attention.
Yeah.
So Morph's also like, this is incredible. Who's representing him? And Josephina's like, me. I'm gonna do it. But she's gonna run into a problem because she can't legally. She can't represent him without first like bringing it to Renee Russo's Redonda's character, because she works under her. She's like an assistant to her.
Oh, and she finds out too. So I guess Jake Gyllenhaal goes and tattles to her, which is funny because he's into her, but he lets her know. Like,
or maybe he doesn't realize that she doesn't know.
Yeah.
Because we don't get to see that conversation. It's taking place offhand.
Yeah, all of a sudden, she just shows up to
at
Josephina's
the
apartment. And
yeah.
It's like, show me what you got. And Josephina's like, get out of my apartment. And Renee Russo's like, no, I'm not.
Not if you had a gun.
Yeah.
As she's looking at all of the pieces of art.
And she reminds her of her contract. Like, we have a no competition clause. You can't, while working for me, quit and
become my competition.
Become my competitor.
Yes. And we find out, like, the reason why she even has that clause is because somebody did that to her before.
And it makes sense, I feel like, in that type of business. Like,
yeah.
If you're going to work for me, you're not going to, like, then,
learn my skills
right.
and then poach my people and then,
mm-hmm.
yeah. No, it totally makes sense. So they go in cahoots together. They're like, okay, the only way that we're really going to be able to make as much money as possible is if we work together.
Or I'm going to be suing you back. We'll be suing each other back and forth.
Yes. So they just plot to
work together.
They come up with a story about how they found the Deese paintings.
By a dumpster under a lamppost.
And they even meet with like some attorneys about like, okay, so the story is we did this, we saw it under, what does she say, under lamplight?
Yeah, under lamplight.
Under
they also decide too that they're gonna lie about the quantity and that they're gonna hide some pieces so it'll up the value. So they're already like scheming about this, and they send their carpenter off, right? Or the carpenter, the installer.
He's kind of like a handyman around the gallery, but he's also an artist, and he too, it's like literally everybody that has seen the Deese artwork becomes inspired, wants to work on it. Morph wants to write a book about the artist and all the different periods of art that he did, because he brings up like there's gaps, and so he realizes there's missing years.
Yeah, there's missing years.
And that's because Redonda was like, hey, handyman, go hide these.
And he's played by Billy Magnuson, who's, Broadway star and, in a lot of films. He was in Into the Woods. He's one of the princes. He's really sleazy in this movie. He's hitting on everyone. You find out he had hit on Josephina. You see him at one point hitting on this poor girl named Coco, who's like this assistant that just gets jerked around. Played by Stranger Things
Natalia Dyer.
Yeah, I was going to say Nancy from Stranger Things.
Oh, yeah, Nancy from Stranger Things. That's true.
But, and she's great. She's like a sad little character in this movie who's always witnessing the worst things.
She's always having to find the dead people.
Yeah, she finds all the dead people in the movie. But, where were we?
So, they have all collaborated to make money off of Deese.
And, yeah, Billy Magnuson, what's his character's name?
Bryson.
He's on the way to the storage facility with the Deese paintings, and he's smoking, right?
Yeah, he decides to light up a joint. Well, he realizes that he has the Deese paintings, and he wants to take some of them for himself.
Yeah, because he saw them earlier at Josephina's desk, and she got pissed. And they were already, like, entrancing him, and he was saying to her, these speak to me. I'm more than just an installer, I'm an artist, and these speak to me. Like he kind of like has a flip out moment, and so when he finds out that's what he's transporting, he's gonna take some.
Yeah, he takes that opportunity to steal some of the artwork that he knows they're going to hide off.
And things have already started getting a little creepy. You know, we were mentioning earlier, we were already seeing like the eyes moving, and just something about the paintings have been really eerie. Every time we see them, they're very menacing. So we know something has to do with something.
Yes, something has to do with something.
Oh yeah, you go ahead.
And so Bryson is driving, and he's put his stolen artwork in the cab of the truck with him, and that they're watching him. Like the artwork is looking at him,
yeah.
and he starts smoking his joint, and then it kind of like ignites, and he drops it, and then he catches on fire, and then he's like driving, but he's on fire, and he kind of collides into this broken down service station that's all closed down. I don't know if people have been there, you know, just like the day before, or hadn't been there in years, kind of thing.
Yeah, you wonder if it's like an old closed down off-road, off-highway.
Because later, an investigator's like, it took us a couple of days to find him down here, but whatever. So he first has to like get himself not on fire anymore, put out the fire on his like chest and stuff.
He runs into the bathroom to like cool himself off. He's like putting water on his chest, just trying to like, you know, cool his wounds. And while he does that, one of the paintings he had stolen, right, was monkeys.
No.
Above
him is a painting of monkeys working on a car. Cause
that's right.
What he has like, you know, run into is a service station.
That's right. And Deese can like, any art can become deadly in this movie, and that's even a line from Rene Russo at one point. She said, all art is deadly.
Yes.
And Deese is going to prove that. Not only are his paintings deadly, but he's going to curse all art.
Yeah, if his paintings are around, they could just influence other pieces of art.
So these monkeys come alive that he's looking at through the mirror, and they pull him in.
Yeah, we see monkey arms like go 3D, pull him into the painting, and he's like struggling. He doesn't want to go in, but he gets yanked in.
He gets all yanked.
Bye, Bryson.
Yanked and jerked and all that.
Yanked and jerked.
They pull him in.
Okay, now there are two characters that have previously been introduced, but I think we failed to introduce John Don Don.
Yeah, John Don Don. He's like a very pretentious art seller also. He's been courting Pierce, trying to get Pierce to
Poaching
leave.
Pierce.
Yeah, trying to get him to leave Redonda.
And we find out that he previously had worked under her, and that's probably why she had that clause in everybody's contract, that no compete is because of him. But so John Don Don has poached Pierce from Redonda, and he goes to his Pierce's workspace to see what he's been working on. And Pierce has been kind of stuck in a rut since he saw Deese's art gallery like opening, and just felt like, wow, I'm not doing anything.
There's also a really famous artist that was in town that we met in Miami that's played by David Diggs, and he's kind of becoming an up and rising star that everyone's trying to get. But Redonda's
Damrish,
yeah, and Redonda's really pulled him in, and she's kind of poached him from a collective that he was going to work with, and she's like, no, I can make you tons of money, millions of dollars if you come with me.
Yes.
Stay with this collective, you're going to be a nobody here in Florida.
Just showing your art off to those that come by, you know, and your art's meant to be seen around the world. So these two artists, though, have seen the Deese collections and been basically like brought to their knees with like humble pie.
Yeah, now Damrish himself too, who is like the new up and coming star, doesn't think he's anybody now.
Yeah.
He's questioning his own talent.
It's sad, guys. That's just what artists do. They're so tortured all the time, always thinking they're so special. Well, but so John Don Don, having thought, I've just gotten one of the top-notch clients of Redonda. under my wing. He goes to Pierce's workplace, and he finds out that Pierce is not working on anything. Pierce has one half-assed painting that looks very much like copies of what he's already previously done.
Yeah, it's very much just like two primary colors, almost yin-yangy looking, but like just side by side. Like it's very plain, very.
It looks like something you could buy at Target and to put in your guest bedroom, honestly.
Yeah.
So he's like, sorry, I'm just not feeling like making or creating. Ideas come to me and die as quickly as they come in my brain.
Yeah.
I'm not feeling like I am creating anything here. It's sad.
It's
John
like, poor
Malkovich plays,
guy.
a sad, tortured soul. A couple days later, Bryson's truck is found, and Redonda and Josephina go down there to get the truck, but all the artwork is gone. But they lied to the investigator, because the investigator's like, well, was there anything else?
They're
Like,
no, there's nothing in
no,
there.
there's nothing. And
Nothing important or of value, but are you sure there was nothing left in
nothing,
this
like
art?
no crates filled with artwork, nothing. And
You're
the
sure?
investigator had said that it's where his truck had been found was close to a
Homeless camp.
yes, and so the truck probably was picked through prior to them coming on the scene. So we already have this idea out there that like there's these artwork out there in in the mass population.
And it's like, oh no, what's gonna happen if this gets out?
So I'd already mentioned that Morph tells Josephina, hey, there's some missing gaps in the art.
She's like, no, there's not.
Yeah, the pieces of art, they're dated, but there's missing years. She's like, whatever.
And the lady doing like the acquisitioning and the analyzing of the art also mentions that like these paintings are made with blood
Yes.
and
Yeah.
tissue.
Weird.
Something's
like
up.
tissue?
Yeah, ew. What kind of tissue?
Yeah, like do you think maybe like he cut off his tongue or something?
Ugh.
I don't
Or,
know why
like,
tung came to me, but
Or slice open like a fatty part of his leg and let some of like the little fat come out.
some of the little fat.
Painted with that.
Some of the little fat.
Some of the little fat.
He just sat there, squeezed it out like it was toothpaste.
Yes.
Fucking funny.
Maybe. I don't know. They said tissue.
Well, Coco is done working for Redonda. Okay, she has just been chewed out one too many times for actually doing her job.
Yeah, she got in trouble because there's this guy from the collective that found out that Damrish had left. And he steps to Redonda. He's like this biker guy. He's like, I own the collective. And she makes fun of that. She's like, oh, isn't that, you own the collective?
Yeah.
Isn't that like kind of the opposite of what a collective is?
Like, not one person owns it. Everyone is a
Everybody.
mutual thing.
He's like, I own the collective. And he does. He kind of gets closer. And I love Renee Russo in this moment. She jumps up and says,
She's like,
back the fuck up!
Yeah, and he's like 6 foot something, and she's like,
275, like big old biker
big
dude.
old guy. Anyways, it's pretty fierce.
Yeah, and he does. He walks away.
He's like, all right, fine, I'm out of here.
So she fires Coco because Coco let him in.
Yeah, I
apparently.
mean, Coco's like 90 pounds wet.
Yeah, she's
And-
like, I tried to stop him.
Yeah, she did the best she could
Yeah.
with the resources she had, which was her own body.
Yeah.
So she goes for an interview with John Don Don, and she
Ew.
spills.
Well, I was about to say, he's really creepy with her.
Yeah.
She's like looking at her all raunchy
It's weird.
the whole time.
Yeah, he's only seeing her as a resource in a lot of different ways to fulfill his needs.
Mhm.
And she spills the beans about the Dees knowledge that she knows.
She's like, there's more out there, John Don Don.
Yeah, I overheard conversations on the phone because Redonda doesn't know that when you patch things through that you can hear, so she would just like listen in on the phone
She's like,
conversation.
sometimes she would have me even monitoring her calls to write notes and would forget I'm on the line.
Yeah.
So I heard lots of things.
So she knows there's more Dees out there, and she also knows that Dees has a jaded, sordid past.
Mm-hmm.
And so John Don Don's like, okay, let me get an investigator on that.
And Jake Gyllenhaal's been investigating too. He's gone
Yeah.
to Deese's old work and found out that Deese used to kind of creep all the employees out, and there was
And
something mean about him.
Possibly murdered one of his supervisors.
Yeah, there was something, like, everyone was like, no, that guy was dark. There's something.
Yeah, you just
about
didn't
him.
mess with him. You just left him alone, let him do his job.
So we also find out more about his past, that he was, like, abused, had a terrible father, terrible childhood.
His mom and sister were killed in a mysterious fire. His dad was, he was taken away from his dad for child abuse, and then he was put himself in a mental institution.
It's all like, oh, okay.
And then had experiments done on him.
Yeah, they did a lot of electroshock therapy on his brain.
So Deese wasn't all there.
Yeah, that's why he painted in the dark realms of life.
You're right. So John Don Don meets with an investigator that tells him all of those things that we just told you all.
Yes.
And he's ready to take that to print. You know, the Deese art exhibit has basically like drained his gallery. No one's going to his gallery right now because everybody wants to go see Deese. So he needs to bring that back, or bring that down.
And he tells Redonda, because then...
No, he calls Morph. He calls Morph
Excuse
and
me,
tells
yeah.
him over voicemail, like, hey, I have something you should know. But before he can even have a conversation with Morph, something happens.
Oh, is he in that room trying to find more paintings? Like, he's snooping around. He's doing something in the dark when he gets grabbed by a hand and hung.
Okay, so he's at his own art gallery,
Okay.
and one of his installations looks like it's the interior of like a cabin.
Yeah.
And so he walks onto his exhibit, and this old projector is going, and it's like playing a
Deese,
video.
like Deese
Yes.
and his dad.
And he's all like, what the hell? And he can't get the projector to turn off, and then the creepy things are happening, and this light bulb is flickering, so he goes to fix it, and that's when the hand grabs him, pulls him up, and chokes him, and then
Yeah.
leaves him there hanging.
Grabs him by the necktie, hangs him, and then Coco finds him in the morning.
Yeah, oh gosh, poor girl. And it's what, probably her first real day on the job.
Yeah.
But it looks like he hung himself.
Yes, and everyone's kind of shook by it. They're like, wow, okay. I knew first Bryson, now this guy.
Well, they go to that funeral, and like, Morph is just making fun of
Yeah.
his casket.
He's like,
and-
bright orange. Who would want to be in that casket for eternity? Why is there cheesy organ music playing? He's just ripping the funeral apart. He's such an asshole.
Yeah, and Josephina calls him out on that, and Damrish, the up-and-coming artist, he shows up at the funeral, and she catches his eye, and you can tell from the moment that they make eye contact, like, oh, she's gonna jump ship
She's
real
like,
quick.
I want to sit on the Davy Diggs.
Davy Diggs. Yeah.
He's Tony winner Davy Diggs from Hamilton. Played the dual parts of Thomas Jefferson and
Lafayette. Lafayette.
Yeah, I like him a lot. He's also has like an experimental hip hop group called Clippings.
Oh, they
And-
have some bomb-ass music.
Yeah, I think in 2020, 2021 they released like a horror themed album, and it's really good.
Yes.
And there's my favorite track is called 96 Nev Campbell, and
It's a
amazing.
goodie. It's a banger.
So check
It's
that
a
out.
banger.
But yeah, so they're banging.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Morph
Josephina.
Morph and Joe go back to their house after the funeral, and they are having sex.
Yeah.
And Morph, one of the Deese paintings, like reaches out
And
for
like
him.
really creeps him out, and he jumps up, pulls out, jumps back, and is like, sorry, I can't keep my boner up right now. I'm creeped out.
I got scared. I got
And
scared.
she's not happy about it. She's like, you know, I used to like you.
And now you can't keep a boner. And mind you, I'm like, okay, I think you guys have been like in a relationship for like 2 weeks. What's going on? Like, not too much time has passed. She's like,
Deese got involved. It got
Oh.
in between them right from the get go.
that's true. Deese nuts.
Deese nuts.
Okay, so Morph is pretty sure he's seeing visions. And
He goes to the eye doctor, and the eye doctor's like, you're cool. And he's like, are you sure? I was really hoping you would
yeah,
diagnose me with
tell
something.
me you're sick. Yeah, you really are. You've got some syndrome. And then our next scene is our Toni Collette character, Gretchen. She's been peppered in throughout this
Yeah,
movie. She's been constantly trying to like get works of art for her secret buyer.
She's really trying to like work with
The gallery or the museum that she just left.
well, and also with Jake Gyllenhaal. For some reason his crazy name's not coming to me.
Morph.
Morph.
Yeah.
And you know, she even at one point is like, you know, I can slip you some money tax free, you know, where no one would find out. He's like, how? You know, he finds that very insulting and calls her out on it.
Yeah. I don't do this for money. I do it for art. I do it for the love of art. She's like, oh yes, of course, kisses.
He's like, fuck, and walks off.
Well, she though has been trying to convince this museum that she had just worked at to showcase a collection of Dee's art and to showcase the sphere that her secret buyer had bought. And so they finally agreed. The install's all out, so she's just looking at it. And Coco is now working for her.
Yeah.
Coco just kind of bounces from person to person because they keep dying or firing her. And she's like, okay, I'm gonna go. I'll
Yeah.
see you tomorrow at this gallery opening right here.
Because the sphere has made it to LA.
The sphere is there.
And they're trying to get it lit perfectly.
And so Gretchen is hanging back. She's there by herself, and she decides, you know what, I've never had a spherical experience. I'm gonna go ahead and sphere right now by myself. I'm sphering.
You know, sometimes they say the best sphere is when you sphere alone.
But they also say you should never sphere alone. Sphering
It's like
alone.
swimming. You should never
Yeah,
swim alone.
you should never sphere alone, and you should never swim
And
alone.
this movie proves why you should never sphere alone.
Because Gretchen puts her hand deep.
It's very
She-
Dune, like the
Yes.
sphere. You know what I mean? The,
Oh
like,
my
mystery
gosh,
box.
the Jabbar. What
Yeah.
is it?
Yeah, the Jabbar. No, I don't even remember, but it's
Dang.
the box. It's also very Phantasm, who took
Yes.
their box from Dune, but I love Phantasm.
But she puts her arm in, and she doesn't pull her arm out. It gets sawed off, and blood is spewing out of all of the
Oh.
different orifices of the sphere. Her blood is everywhere. Her body is laying there at the bottom of the sphere, and it remains there for half the day as everybody who comes to see the opening of Sphere thinks it's a part of the exhibit.
Yeah, and it's a big day too because it's the opening of Sphere and the opening of some Dees paintings, and the Dees ride up, and like everything is like Dees madness right now. So
Yes.
tons of people have showed up, but yeah, everybody being unaware thinks it's part of the art installation.
It's really hilarious.
Little
Like
kids are walking in the blood.
like leaving their footprints all around it and playing in it, and then finally Coco shows up.
Oh, Coco.
And she's like, oh my gosh, no!
Yeah, so it's not until Coco shows up that people realize, oh, this is a real dead lady on the floor. Okay.
They thought it was just a part of the art.
That's fucked up. It is fucked up. When she gets her arm chopped off, first it gets like sucked in, she's screaming, and you hear like blades start going, and you're like, oh my god. Toni Collette's like visceral screams are so realistic
So
too.
good.
It's fucked up.
And God, yeah,
up-fucked.
it's up fucked. And so now she's dead, and phone calls are being made, and Morph finds out that Gretchen has died, so they'd been friends, and he goes over to Josephina's because I guess he still thought that they were together, but she forgot to officially break up with him and just kind of like unofficially broke up with him. And so he shows up to Damrish David Diggs, showing off his big D.
He lets himself into Josephine. He's like, I couldn't be alone. And she's like, you need to get out right now, because we see David Diggs, Damrish in the back, like naked, making some eggs. And I'm like,
Oh, he's making
Daddy,
eggs.
make me some eggs in the buff, please. Please.
Artist in the streets and artist
You can-
in them sheets.
You can scramble them with your dick.
Yeah, you can just like get all up in my eggs. I'm pointing to my eggs right now, okay?
And by eggs, I mean my ass.
I mean inside my uterus, my eggs.
But he's hot, and Jake Gyllenhaal
That
is
Deck's
like,
gonna get me pregnant.
and Jake Gyllenhaal's so pissed by it. And he's like, my admiration for your work has completely evaporated.
You've been fucking my girl.
And he
We're
storms
done.
out, you know.
Okay.
But Josephina calls Jake Gyllenhaal that night, like, I'm sorry.
Because he kind of starts to put it all together. Like,
Yeah.
Gretchen's died, Don, Bryson, they've all been involved with Deese. It's a Deese thing. She doesn't believe him, and he, like, posts an article about it because he does believe that he is a mouthpiece and that he can influence. So he's basically like, don't go see Deese because it'll ruin your life.
Well, and so Redonda and them are like, we gotta sell everything now, or people aren't gonna want Deese because they're gonna think it's haunted. It's not gonna be good. Sell everything now. Get rid of everything. So they do.
So they do.
They try.
They're trying, but Redonda kind of also believes more.
She's starting
and
to
she
believe.
starts to get rid of her art. And Josephina has a moment with Damrish where he's just looking at one of her pieces of art, and he's like, if you look at it long enough, it starts to move. And she's like, oh shit, this really is happening.
Yeah.
This art really is coming alive.
And Damrish ends up breaking up with her that night at like a bar too. He's like, you know what? I'm gonna go back to the collective. This was a fun little ride.
But you're kind of proving that you just want to be in this for the money and the fame. And I want to be in this for the art.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go be myself.
And he kisses her on the forehead. It's super funny. And she like wipes it off all
She's like,
pissed.
"Ugh."
She stomps off and goes outside. She's like in this graffiti muraled alleyway where all the
Parking
cars
lot.
are parked, but someone's
double parked.
parked in front of her car, so she's pissed and having to wait for a tow truck. And then behind her, the art mural starts to come alive, and it kind of creates like a hallucination for her.
Yes.
She thinks she's in the art gallery all of a sudden.
And she's talking to Redonda on the phone at this point too.
Yeah.
And they're talking about how they think this might be real.
Yeah, it's got to be real. And then she looks at her body, and the paintings that are on the gallery wall, the paint is starting to trickle up into her.
Yeah, it's like it crawled after her to take over her body.
And it's like consuming her to the point that like she is just nothing but different stripes of paint all over her.
And we see her the next morning as part of like the graffiti mural
Yeah,
in
she's
the
just been
parking lot.
completely just like you
She's
can
one
kind
with
of,
art.
yeah,
now.
you kind of make her out, but yeah, she's one with the mural now. So she dead.
And Redonda almost got killed that night. She's sitting outside while she was talking to Josephina, and a big like art installation in her backyard fell and nearly got her.
Nearly got her.
And it really freaked her out. So the next morning, she's really trying to get everything burned or sold off.
And also, while that thing is happening with Josephina,
Jake
Gyllenhaal's character Morph had just hired Coco to take care of some inventory at his storage facility. And also at that same storage facility is the hobo human robot that he had panned
and insulted.
And that thing takes revenge on him and suffocates and crushes him.
Kills him right there in the downtown LA
And it's kinda
storage
spooky.
unit. Yeah, he like chases him, and he's also on crutches, and he
Yes.
uses those crutches to like trap him, and then grabs him and suffocates him.
And he's always like talking to him like, I can't save you. I can't save you. It's
Yeah.
like 2001 Space Odyssey, the voice kind of.
Yeah.
Like,
And
I'm
so,
sorry.
guess who finds him? Coco.
She shows up for, again, her first day, and
Another employer is dead.
3 days in a row, 3 different employers have died.
And there's a quick cut of just her getting on an airplane and leaving. Because she had mentioned at one point, if I can't find any good work, I gotta go back to Michigan. And so she's just like, I'm fucking out of here. Everybody I try to work for dies. I would too. I'd be like, I'm going home.
Yeah, she's headed to the airport in the taxi cab, and we see on the side of the street a haze, one of the crates that Bryson in the truck.
Yeah, that probably one of the homeless men had
Yes.
stolen.
There was one of the crates, and like the art was up on a fence, and just like a local homeless person was selling it
Like
$5.
But that happens after Redonda.
Uh-huh.
But so Redonda thinks everything's fine the next day. You know, she's still freaked out about the art installation falling, but she talks to some like worker of hers, and he assures her everything is gone. Everything Dee's has been burned, is gone.
She does
Don't worry
know
about
though
it.
Josephina's dead and Morph is dead.
Yeah, so she's freaking out. But there's Art still comes back to get her.
Yes, because we have seen on the back of her neck that she has a buzz saw, and then inside the buzz saw
Is the band name.
is the band name Velvet Buzzsaw, and it
Comes to
animates
life,
and
yeah.
starts sawing into her skin, into the back of her neck, and clearly like all the way through her.
Yeah. And it goes to black, but obviously she gets killed.
Yes.
By her
And
tattoo.
and then we see our friend Coco leaving. She's like, all right, everybody's dead. And she's going to LAX, and she sees the homeless.
Artwork.
Yeah, the
So
homeless
it's like
person
the
selling
art is
artwork.
still out there, even though we thought, because, you know, the guy said we burned everything, got rid of everything. But no, dun dun dun, still being sold on the streets of LA.
Thanks to those crates.
Yeah, we're like, oh, that's who got them.
It was, you know, it was all Redonda and Josephina's fault that it was still out there, because they wanted to hide it and then bring it out later to make more money off of it. It
Yeah,
all
it's-
goes back to the money.
It's such a very moody, funny, like weirdly funny, creepy movie. I enjoy it, but we'll get more into that in the next segment.
Before it cuts to black, we get this shot of Piers, and he is on the beach because he always wanted to just create art for art. He didn't want to create it for money.
So he's out on the beach making art.
He's making sand art out
It's
there.
gonna get washed away.
It will, but he wanted to go back to a billion years
Yes.
of creative energy. So there he is, and he's alive still.
Mm-hmm.
And-
So is David Diggs. They're like the two artists, real artists, make it out alive.
Yes. So it's a nice way to kind of end the film and wrap it up. John Malkovich just kind of dancing out there making art, and then we get our credit roll.
So do you think we'll survive Meow Wolf? Will the art come to life tomorrow? Are we true artists?
I think the art's going to come to life, and I think we are true artists, but I also think that we're going to be fine, and we're going to be back in just a few seconds to explain what we've done.
So listen to some of our awesome theme song by Bad Athlete, Scream Queens, and we'll be back in just a few seconds.
All right. Bye.
I've got you figured out. Tough luck, you're in my world now. I have no doubt, I have no fear. I'm gonna make you disappear. We are the scream queens, running through the night. We are the scream queens, gonna put up a fight, make everything alright.
We're back, and we're in the car, and we're driving home, and we had so much fun.
Wow. Anyways, we are on the Interstate 40 East in New Mexico. We had just left Santa Fe about an hour ago, didn't we?
We did.
And it was magical. It was enchanting, some might say.
You know, for New Mexico, it's all just a land of enchantment.
And it really was. Like, you know, the first thing when we drove in, we were struck by the architecture and all the adobe and, like, you know, just everything
Yes.
is so Southwest.
That Southwest aesthetic was hitting me hard.
It knocked her over at one point.
It got me hard, and it was hitting me hard. And
Oh.
okay, let's rein that back in. Anyways, so let's just start from the very beginning.
And you know what drew us here originally was Meow Wolf, of course, but you know, because you know that was a way in to talk about art and the focus of the movie. But you know, the whole town is so art focused that we could have just gone to New Mexico. And-
We're just gone to Santa
or-
Fe.
Yeah, that's what I
yes.
mean. We could have just gone to Santa Fe, and
Yes.
that's been our episode.
But I'm so glad that we went to Meow Wolf, and
Yes.
we will get there. We'll start with checking in at our hotel, Drury Plaza Hotel. It was magnificent, to say the least.
Yeah, we were in a really great location. We were right downtown. There was a rooftop pool and hot tub. We got 3 free drinks a night.
3 alcoholic drinks a night, guys. 3
That's amazing. You could double them up, you
each
know.
night.
And each night we just had our little vodka tonics.
And they would have like little cheapy foods that you could get, like hot dogs. They had popcorn
Pasta,
and
right.
salads. Like they just had like this little smorgasbord bar open for you to just go in if you're staying there, so maybe you hungry.
Yes, and we were.
And then they had a
thirsty.
restaurant too.
Yes, indeed they did.
Let's see what else. We checked in and then we decided to go to the Santa Fe Brewing Company.
Yeah, and it was beautiful. I met my cowboy boyfriend out there.
Yes, you decided.
Don't know his name.
No?
Or even the band's
Nope.
name, but
Nope, because you didn't even walk around to find that out.
he's
you
out
just
there
saw
thinking
him.
of me.
And, yeah, he's just out there thinking of you,
Yeah.
even though you didn't walk up and introduce
That
yourself.
long, flowing brunette hair.
It gave me like on the cover of the romance novels,
kind of
that long hair
the cowboy hat.
and how
on.
tall he was, and yeah, the cowboy hat. It was a look
It
for
was a
sure.
look. It was definitely a vibe.
And
And-
they were so this band that we didn't get the name of, and they were just basically 2 guys playing guitars, country music, but it was like outside in this beautiful beer garden at the Santa Fe Brewing Company. So we just enjoyed beers. It had
Weather
some
was-
live music.
Weather was fantastic.
We ate some good little taco or truck food.
The IPAs there were so good. Great beer.
Yummy.
Huge facility too, by the way.
Yes, I mean they distribute Santa Fe Brewing Company beer all around the contiguous United States, I believe. But
Then we went back and we hot tubbed it.
we hot tubbed it, and we decided to check off all 3 of those free drinks. We were like, we are sleeping well tonight, guys.
And then woke up with a headache, and
Yeah.
we off to visit some friends. Hey, Nathan and Matt.
Oh my gosh, yes, we had some beautiful coffee with some beautiful friends who were also passing through Santa Fe on their mini moon. They had just gotten married.
They had a whole Southwest adventure. They had already been through New Mexico, but were staying the night on their way back home, and we just met them for coffee, and it was so nice to see them.
And Matt, he gave us so many recommendations that we just stacked the rest of our trip with all of these wonderful places to stop and eat, have drinks, take in the Santa Fe life.
And after coffee, we headed over to MEOW WOLF, and it was more than we could have asked for. As we had said, we'd been to the Vegas one, but conceptually, I think this one was a little tighter. There was more of a story, I felt like, to this one than the Vegas supermarket. And don't get me wrong, I love the Vegas supermarket. It's really, really great, and
Yeah.
you should go. But something about this one, knowing that it was the original, the story behind it was just 2 hours of just blowing your mind.
Blowing your mind. It was
Feeling like
super
Alice in
trippy.
Wonderland.
And it was the House of Eternal Return is the theme. And yeah, it definitely was way more streamlined when it came to like story. When you walked into the actual beginning of the exhibit, you even had like a little mailbox that you look in, and there was this secret letter to you or to whomever is happening upon it. And you're supposedly an agent that's happened on the house, and you've got to research, go around, try to figure out what really happened. There was a disaster there that opened up opened up the multiverse in the house and these portals.
And so the whole family was like killed / stuck or somewhere lost to the multiverse, and you're supposed to go around just get clues of their whereabouts, of the story, how to close the portal. And there's just like remnants of like you're going back and forth between like the house and then like other dimensions, and you'll open a refrigerator and walk into a new world, or crawl out of a laundry,
A dryer.
A dryer, yeah.
Uh-huh. And you would have just been crawling like from some kind of like mythical world that it's just really psychedelic and fun, immersive. It's not just the installations, there's the sound, and then there are sometimes the smells that get you, and there's rooms that bring you a lot of nostalgia, especially rooms that have a lot of like recycled art, and you're like, oh, I remember having that video game in my collection.
And this all started in the 2000s, right? As like an art collective of kind of like outside artists in New Mexico that were kind of disenfranchised from the whole gallery scene.
Yeah.
Who decided to like come together, make this new thing called immersive art. And
Yeah.
They pretty much created what that means in the art world, the people that came up with MEOW WOLF.
Yeah, back in 2008, and they spent 10 years really like perfecting what is now House of Eternal Return, and had even dreamed up other ideas that they ended up making into installations like Omega Mart. That was something that they had dreamed up in like 2012 and had made smaller versions of for other, an area that they could install it, until they basically got funding from George R.R. Martin in 2015
Yes.
to actually have a location in Santa Fe, an old bowling alley, that they could just completely renovate and create this 70-room immersive art experience that's made by how many 130 plus artists that
and
created
it's
it.
just like this vision of like storytelling and art come to life, and it's interactive, it's like I said, psychedelic. It changes your outlook on things while you're in there, and like you'll go from one colorful world to a world of like black and white, to all of a sudden you're in a
pop art.
house, to being in this neon world, and it all kind of makes sense and flows, but then can like twist you around, and it's always unexpected. You think you've seen it all, and then you find a couple more rooms.
Yeah, you'll open a door and you're like, oh, this is a closet. Nope. If I walk a little further into the closet, it actually juts off into another dimension. It's so just unique. And it's the whole, I guess the story is that the Selig family, the dad is he's a cult leader. He's founded this church called the Power of Positive Mechanics, and he's somehow become attuned to the multiverse and is trying to create a portal so that he can send people on these multi-dimensional vacations to other worlds so they can reach their like max spirit potential. It's so bizarre, but you need that kind of like inside that gateway into the world.
Yeah, it's definitely like the story's like a mix of Heaven's Gate and like Scientology.
Yeah, because you're like, oh, this poor family who, when you go into the rooms, you see like there's children in their rooms and what they like, and they're into animals, but now because the dimensions are warped, you can open up the medicine cabinet and there's a weird forest where a bunny rabbit is hiding inside, it's just so bizarre.
Or you can walk through a closet and get into another world or another room, or it's just everything leads somewhere else. Something's got to do with something.
But we highly, highly recommend that everyone
travel to Santa Fe. Santa Fe's badass on its own, and then it has this great little thing called MEOW WOLF that will make your trip even better.
Make your trip the best Santa Fe trip ever.
Best Santa Fe trip ever.
I
love the desert.
Oh my god, the desert in Santa Fe.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
Are we doing this again?
Oh, no. Okay,
we have the worst New Zealand accent, so we are just, you know what? I don't care, guys.
Anyways, so go to MEOW WOLF. If there's one near you, go. There's one in Denver. There is one in Vegas. And I guess coming soon, Dallas and in Houston.
Pardon me. Yes, yeah, Grapevine, Dallas area, and Houston. Now the Denver has its own theme called Convergence Station, and then we've obviously mentioned Vegas's Omega Mart. We need to get to Colorado quick.
Yeah, and I don't know if Dallas is already open or is opening soon.
It's not open yet.
Okay, I
They
didn't
don't
think
have
so.
a theme
Okay.
listed on all of these
So it's
sites
just
I was
been
looking at.
announced. But
Mhm.
yeah, I'm sure they'll have their own themes.
Yes, because like this new alternative art culture that MEOW WOLF has founded, for the last like 10 plus years, now they have this foundation through MEOW WOLF, and they are able to, with all these donations, now establish all of these satellite like places. So it's one of those like, no, maybe you don't have to travel across the country, but sooner or later there'll be a pocket of MEOW WOLF close to you.
Yeah, it's now like a multi-million-dollar machine. You know, they make lots of money, and good for them. It started out as this little thing that could, and
Yeah, they now have, I read on one of the pages I was reading, nearly 1,000 people employed. That's not including artists, that's just literal people, like, and probably to a certain extent engineers and stuff like that. But wow, just the amount of growth in the 10 plus years that they've been together, and how they have just kind of like paved the way and taken all these alternative artists and given them a home and a place to express themselves.
express yourself.
It's really like just an amazing story to hear.
Well, and this kind of art is taken over across the U.S. You know, even Oklahoma City ourselves have like a little mini MEOW WOLF called Factory Obscura.
Yes.
That is a similar concept.
And obviously, you know, was inspired by
Yeah,
this,
MEOW WOLF.
but
and this revolution of art.
it's so cool and really just triggers imagination in everyone. You know, like when you're in there, you want to be inquisitive and open and touch on everything just in case.
I mean, you get to go down slides and through these like twisty little staircases, and you know, you're just having fun. It's like an adult playground or a kid's
Yeah.
playground too. There were children there, but you know, you get to like just relive fun.
And it's exposing the kids that you're just mentioning to this idea of this immersive art that isn't like boxed in to, in a gallery, how it looks, and it's just allowing expansive minds, and all the little things it's doing to make our world a better place, Josh.
I love it.
So great. So now I guess we can switch gears. Wait, no, we haven't even told them all the other things. We'll have to circle back and tell them. Should we tell them the rest, or should we get
Yeah,
back
let's
into?
just tell them real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, then after that, we went and walked around downtown Santa
Mhm.
Fe, which is gorgeous. Again, like just all the adobe and the architecture. We went on this was on a Sunday, so all the vendors were out lining the streets selling, you know, their turquoise, silver wares and jewelry and little pottery pieces and knickknacks.
It was just alive and vibrant,
Yeah.
and a very thriving downtown area where creativity is also just welcomed. And
Yeah, art is everywhere. There's galleries everywhere. There's vendors on the street selling their art. and-
amazing New Mexican food.
Yes, for sure. We stopped at a place called Coyote's Cantina. It was like a cool little rooftop bar. It was happening. It was busy.
Mhm.
And we had, what was the margarita we had?
The margarita was kind of like what the locals had. It was this green chili, hatch chili infused margarita, like top shelf tequila. It was so good. I think it was called the Norterno.
Yeah, it was good. It was spicy. You could tell it had like those local flavors. We just had one, and then we, you know, went and walked around a little bit.
Yeah.
Some more. And
Had some French pastries that were
Oh
so
my God.
divine.
we split 3 desserts. It was chocolate mousse, which is like some of the most heavenly chocolate mousse I've had. Fruit tart, and then like this cake.
A
I forgot.
Montmartre.
A Montmartre.
Montmartre, yes. Oh my God. And the Montmartre had this bottom layer, like the thinnest layer of chocolate, but then the sponge cake, and then this chantilly
Custard.
cream and custard, and these strawberries with this glaze on top. Oh my God! So good. And then later on that evening, we did a little bit more hot tub time.
Yes. The hot tub on the roof with the mountains.
With the
There's
mountains and the
snow
oh.
capped all around, pretty much.
Yes.
I guess in one direction there weren't really mountains, snow-capped mountains.
Well,
but
in the
no.
direction of our hot tub and where my eyeballs were, I got to see snow-capped mountains.
It was just picturesque, and we finished our 3 drinks.
Yes, well, because you got them every day. You got 3 alcoholic beverages every day.
Then we went to a place by the train tracks called Tomasito's, and it was just, just some great homespun, new Mexican food.
Yeah, you could kind of tell it was like a place where the locals came, and it wasn't in the downtown area. We like to make sure that we stretch
Walk
our
around.
legs.
Yeah, we like to be somewhere we can walk around, find restaurants and shopping.
And we bring our car for a reason, so we want to traverse around the city and see it from all its angles and anals.
Anals, yeah.
So we did Tomasitas, and then we were not done having fun. And our friend Matt, who's a travel writer, had recommended the El Rey Court Hotel Bar, La Reina.
We already decided next time we'll probably
Oh,
stay
and we're
there.
probably going to stay there.
It's
yeah.
like this old Route 66, neon sign hotel that has now been like just remodeled, and it's so cute.
It's not that our hotel didn't have all the things. We loved our hotel, but my goodness, the charm
This one's
that
so charming.
this roadside had.
A little cheaper than where we stayed.
Yeah.
But it just felt like a community. There were people on the grass hanging out. They were barbecuing. There was like a band playing. The bar was so nice.
There was a greenhouse that had picnic tables, and there was just something really communal about it, and it had that vibe that we felt like, oh, we belong here.
It was like an adobe oasis that's all been painted white, so it just has like this almost Star Wars, like, where does
Oh my gosh, on
Luke
Tatooine.
where Luke Skywalker lives
Yeah.
at the beginning, kind of reminded me of that.
Hilarious. It's on Tatooine, but in Santa Fe.
But yeah, go have drinks at the El Rey Court. Their bar is awesome. Really nice drinks.
Recommend.
They're very tequila and mezcal heavy menu, which is right up my alley.
Yeah, they even on their website, which I was like, well, shit, that's gonna happen next time. Their signature thing is a mezcal flight. So that sounds so yummy.
There was a place called like Joe's Tequila Bar or something.
Yes, that close by our hotel. Yeah,
right by our
downtown.
hotel where we could have just walked to.
Yeah.
But they were closed Sundays, and that was the day we would have been able to really have visited.
Yes, because we traveled on Saturday.
Yeah, and we got in at
yeah.
a decent time. We got in at like 2:30 on Saturday.
definitely,
but
yeah,
Just
have-
not enough time for what we wanted to do to get, because we were already going to the brewery. So.
Yeah. We probably did a good 36, 38 hours of Santa Fe.
Yes, and we already have a lot
In
of things we
total.
want to come back for and
Yeah.
see next time. So that's nice too.
And then, and last night we capped it off by each of us had bought a bath bomb.
Yeah.
And our bathroom had like a standing shower, but then also a sunken tub.
Oh, a big ass
Big
deep
ass,
tub, which I love. I love a big tub.
We splurged a little on the room. And I mean, it's Santa Fe. You gotta be a little bougie when you're there with all these people. Like, there's the Four Seasons around there, and it's like $1,000 a night. And we can't do that. So
Plus,
we just,
yeah.
we were living our humble best life.
Humble babe.
And so we each took a bath, and it was like glorious. And after walking around and just eating all that good food, have those drinks, it put me right to bed.
Then we passed out, woke up, went for a short little hike because we got scared that we were getting lost and thought a cougar was going to
Oh,
come get
no,
us.
that was me. I was being overreactive. It was too early in the morning.
It was actually really cold and we didn't.
Yeah, and I was cold, and I guess like because I was cold, my body was already in survival mode, so then it was saying things like, but what if a rattlesnake got you, Justine? And what if a cougar came and got you? But we went for a short hike in the Santa Fe National Forest.
The Talia or
Atalaya Trail. It's over there by that, what was it, the St. Joseph's College? I mean, everything there is just like so Catholic. And as a Catholic, I was like, oh my gosh, it is everywhere.
Oh,
And
you're a
next to-
Catholic now?
well, I mean, I am. I have been a practicing Catholic for a while, but you never forget. And so when I walked around and I saw things, I was like, wait, is that a Catholic church? Yes, it is, because I can see a Marian shrine. Our hotel was right next to the oldest.
St. Francis, who's a sissy.
Yeah, he's a sissy. Yeah, he's a sissy man. Yeah, it's the St. Francis of Assisi Cathedral. It's the oldest cathedral. Well, the place where it was built, there was a previous church, Catholic church, and that was the oldest from like 1610. But it's a very old church in a very old town.
Yes.
In the very old New Mexico.
It was beautiful. Just so beautiful.
You're so beautiful.
So, oh, thanks. Then we went and got more coffee.
Yes.
Some donuts.
At Who's Donuts, and
Oh my god, we got these like blue corn donuts.
guys,
To die
wow.
To die for.
To die! We were having ourselves red and green hatch chili and blue corn all weekend, guys.
Oh my god.
Oh, God. It was New Mexican heaven.
I know, I'm so sad to be leaving New Mexico.
Yeah.
But
and
that
all
was kind
their-
of it. And then we headed out. So we kind of like left, we took our time leaving today.
We had a long goodbye.
Yeah.
Kept looking back.
Goodbye.
Excuse
Oh,
me.
oh my
I'm still
gosh.
getting over my illness, everyone.
I heard she got that cough.
I got that cough now.
Yeah, so
let's get into the
art
movie.
world.
Yeah.
Segueing into Texas Chainsaw.
No.
Velvet
So yeah,
Buzzsaw.
Meow Wolf was basically a reaction to the overpriced culture of the art world, where it was for the top buyers.
Snooty gallery
Yeah.
owners.
And Meow Wolf was like, no, art is for everyone. Art is a collection. Art is a collective.
It is for you. It's for me. It's for everyone who pees.
I'm getting like really close in with the
Art.
mic, so.
Art. It's for you.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, that's a gooder. That's a gooder segue. That's a good segue into Velvet Buzzsaw, because Velvet Buzzsaw is all about greedy ass people just trying to make as much as they can
Off a dead man.
off a
who's-
dead man. Yep.
Yeah.
You're right.
And it's him saying like "fuck you" from beyond the grave, apparently.
Yeah, because he truly did not want his art displayed. He was a tortured man, an abused man. He was a murderer.
Yeah.
He multiple times murdered people.
He had all kinds of issues.
So he knew he was making his art for himself and he wanted it destroyed. Now you got selfish ass Josephina, who doesn't even want to do art herself. She just wants to like tell people when they are no good anymore.
She wants to make money off of other people's art, essentially. She's like, I'll gather. Does she even
I'm a
say
curator.
something like she has no talent? Or she's talentless? Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Anyways, but she doesn't. She doesn't have talent, so she's relying on other people's talent to make money off of.
And shaming them and pressuring them into like doing things for her. She's just a no good Nancy. Sorry, I don't like her.
Yeah, I like this movie. It's darkly funny. It's creepy. It feels velvety. Feels buzzsaw.
It feels velvety and buzzsaw, huh?
The bright, colorful. It's very lush looking. The movie.
Yeah, it's a good time. I feel like I clearly understood its message. There were like, some people out there that were like, it's clunky and it, has a hard time getting there and saying what it means. I don't really think so.
No, I think it's pretty obvious what it means.
Yeah, I think
but
people just
maybe that's what their problem is. That
need
they
to
think
bitch
it's-
about something and are almost making a further note on what the movie is saying by doing that said thing. Would you like to explain to everybody what your favorite scene is and then give your knife rating, Mr. Josh?
I mean, I think it's pretty obvious. I love when Toni Collette gets her arm chewed off
Miss Gretchen.
from the sphere.
Yeah.
It's just it starts off kind of funny, the scene, because she's giving her assistant like a lot of shit and like, fine, yeah, you can go home and have a couple hours of sleep, and she's very pleased with herself when she approaches it, and then she sticks her arm in and it goes to pure terror, and then we get a good gore scene with her arm. And even how it builds up. First it pulls her in, then it's like almost like sucking on her arm or something. Then
Yeah, you can hear those sounds.
Yeah, then you see the blade, hear like a blade.
Yeah, and she
then,
starts wailing.
and you can tell she's struggling. And then when the arm obviously is cut all the way, how the sounds and the detachment of the arm is so gnarly.
Yeah. And it's a good payoff because you're kind of thinking something like that's got to happen from the beginning. From the moment that the sphere is revealed and people are like putting their hands in, my thought was like, is something going to get chopped off? Like, so it pays off and it does it really well.
Because you're also left with the mystery of like, what's actually in there? Because they keep saying like, everybody has a new experience. I'm like, but what's in there?
Yeah.
Why? How do
Is
they
it-
have an experience?
Is someone inside it blowing on you or licking you?
Or is it all about just like in your mind? Like you put your hand there, whatever you feel is what you feel, but you're not really feeling anything. It's just like a placebo effect.
Ooh, it's all
You know, but
psychological?
I guess not. There's apparently a saw in
Yeah.
there to cut someone's arm
Well,
off.
to answer your question, you know at least one thing that was in there. A saw.
Yeah.
Because her arm got cut off.
Yeah.
Or a blade. A razor.
Something sharp enough to cut through her arm.
Yeah. But there were many holes. So yes, that's good. Yeah, that's a good old sceney.
Yeah, let's go. What's yours?
I am gonna go with, since you chose Gretchen, I like, and I think it's also a good payoff, when Jake Gyllenhaal's morph gets his demise
Yeah.
by the hobo human. And it's scary from the beginning, from the moment that you see hobo human and how not real but realistic he is. And then at the end, when he's, trapping him with his like crutches and talking to him, it's just like I'd mentioned earlier, it kind of sounded very 2001 Space Odyssey, like,
I can't help you.
yeah, as they're in control of your demise. They're like, I can't help. Well, you're suffocating and crushing me, so maybe you can.
The problem with AI, it's gonna come
It's
and
gonna-
destroy us. It's gonna destroy us all.
Okay, yeah. So good. I think all of the overall, like the kill scenes, they're pretty good, imaginative. The art coming
Yeah.
alive, pulling, what was his name, Bryson through the monkey arms.
I do like the monkeys a lot. That's a lot of fun. It's creepy and weird. You're like, what the fuck, these killer monkeys? Because monkeys are killers, by the way.
They will cut your fucking face
They will
up.
rip your eyeballs out.
Mm-hmm.
They will mess you up. I saw a lady on Oprah once.
Nope. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
just saying
Oh, yeah.
the movie Nope.
Nope.
Yeah.
Gordy.
Yeah.
Oh, we're on a
Oh.
really rough
Bum,
patch
bum,
of
bum, bum,
road.
bum, 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 bum. Oh, we're gonna.
Oh, wow, New
we're
Mexico
gonna bum, bum,
threw
bum.
us a curveball
Sorry,
of a road
guys.
all of a sudden,
I
guys.
didn't want you to hear it.
Whoa.
I just wanted you guys to hear
What the
us.
hell?
So,
Wow.
okay, fave scenes. Okay, knife rating, Joshy.
I'm gonna go a very solid 3 knives.
All right, I'm agreeing with you. A solid 3 knives.
I could have maybe gone 3.5, but I'm like, no, I think a solid 3 is good. It's enjoyable. Maybe there's a little something missing. I don't know. It's just, I always think like 5 knives means I could watch it over and over and over. I could watch it maybe a couple more times in my life or something. I don't know. But I like it. I love Rene Russo in it, and Jake Gyllenhaal and all the actors, and it really is creepy, and I love the director. Nightcrawler's great.
Yeah, Dan Gilroy's doing some good work. I totally agree with you. 3 knives for sure. It's definitely one that I would recommend to people. No, I probably won't watch this for a while again, but if if someone was like, I haven't seen that, I would definitely throw in my recommendation. It's
Yeah.
a good, less than 2 hours, creeping on 2 hours movie.
Depends, really, for me, who I'd recommend to. I don't think anybody, if people have a problem with like A24 horror or things like that, I wouldn't tell them to watch this one. But I like it.
You like it?
I like it.
Okay, well, you mind telling them what's up next?
Do we really know?
Well, yeah, we do know. It's set in stone. What's up next?
Okay, I think we're doing Joyride and
Mm-hmm.
a Route 66 just Joyride.
Yes,
Up
it'll
to
be
Tulsa
yeah,
town.
it'll be like a little day trip that we do, our usual little Route 66 driving trip. We always like to give a nod to what we do, a road trip.
Yeah,
and-
last time we did a Route 66 and did dual, we went the opposite way. We went out west. We're going to go east, y'all. We're heading up towards Tulsa and might even go further. Who knows?
Who even knows? So stay tuned. I can't wait to talk about Joyride. It's got Lily.
Sobieski, Paul Walker,
Mhm.
Steve Zahn, right?
We love, Steve Zahn. We love.
Yeah.
All, I think it's gonna. I haven't watched it though in
I
like.
haven't seen it like 20 years.
Yeah,
but hey,
it's been so long. So
we're coming at you with
Here
a
we
fun
go.
little Route 66 pre-summer joyride next month.
all right, you guys take care of yourselves. Remember to go rate and review. Give us that 5-star rating. Give us a review. It helps us out so much.
Please.
Please check us out on the social medias. Interact. We want to interact with you.
Yeah, and we'll see you next month.
Peace out. Bye.
Bye.